to inaugurate this wonderful 2-day conference, which has this theme of literary and language studies in the new millennium. Without a second thought, I said immediately yes. I know 9th March is a hectic day for me, well ahead. I've got a few family occasions also to celebrate on this day, but I never wanted to miss an opportunity to step inside the portals of any college for that matter, especially Loyola College. A college which has its own legacy and tradition of imposing not only knowledge to the students, but also wisdom, for which I have huge respect for this college. I think it is Robert Browning who was kept on par with Milton for his prosaic contributions. He stated once, wisdom is one of God's most beauteous attributes, and very rarely human beings attain it. Yet Solomon desired it whenever he pleased God. So that much of importance has always been given to wisdom. When I saw the theme of the conference, I thought, where is this wisdom and where is this knowledge? If you just keep these two words on parallel sides, and you can see a long gap, and you can't just brush it away saying that it's a generation gap. We are talking about millennials, not only millennials, Gen is it also, generation is it also. I come from a generation of having my degree, postgraduate degree and undergraduate degree in Madurai Theological College, wherein the canonical texts and the classical literature were given much importance. I always say that I'm a proud student of Dr. T.V. Shubara, who taught me the English critical tradition because he was a student of F.R. Lewis in Cambridge. So we were all staunch followers of that tradition, I.A. Richards, T.S. Eliot, F.R. Lewis. And we've come a long way from that tradition to this millennials and to the generation Z. So I've got a few points because as an academician also I need to share my opinion and how are we going to face this challenge of bridging the gap between that generation, especially the teachers, the students, as well as a general public. Because as has been rightly stated by our secretary, that we follow in Tamil Nadu, we are very staunch followers of a two-language formula. And I believe in that, but I specifically choose to write my creative writings in Tamil. And I consider it as a political statement. Like Gugi Wantiago, who has started writing his works like any other, like Wole Soyinka or any other African writers in one of the European languages. He started writing, but suddenly, I think some 15 years ago, he declared to the world that he was no longer going to write in English, and he chose to write in his native language, the Kikuyu language, and he said that it's a political statement. Why should an African student learn about the daffodils of Wordsworth in an African classroom was his statement. Instead, we're not against the language. Instead, things regarding the nativity tribe, their food, their cuisine, their culture, everything, why should it can't be transported in that language and the locals can be fed about or the knowledge about their own local things in the is an alien language. I come from a very rural background. I hail from a village in the southern tip of Tamil Nadu, wherein we grew up with baby-eyed wonder and sometimes with fear and anxiety if anyone strikes up a conversation in English in our school days. we don't understand the basic structure because it's a Celtic language. We always wonder that why Knife is spelled in that way, but when you pronounce it, why is it knife? So right from our childhood, we have had this mind-boggling as well as a sort of a fearsome attitude towards English. And very few of us have had the opportunity to graduate in literature and do your post-graduation in literature and your doctorate in literature also. So that way, I've seen both ends, growing up from that generation of considering the canonical texts and the classical ones as the benchmark. And now dealing with all the things, even in this wonderful handbook, I have seen an abstract titled as Bride and Prejudice. The adaptation, Indian interpretation and adaptation of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. So, lot have been opened up, and young and fresh minds are now coming up with all postmodern criticism, what it is. See, when Path came and announced, the author is dead. That's a new opening for us. And Derrida, with this deconstruction theory, I myself started, like deconstructing, like W.B. Yeats. You can't just differentiate whether it is a dancer or the dance. From that, I started deconstructing my own poems. So you have come a long way in literary theories also. And as has been rightly pointed out by Mandela, without language, one cannot talk to people and understand them. One cannot share their hope and aspirations, grasp their history, appreciate their poetry, or savor their songs. So that way, we admire English language because it's all said and done. It's the language which liberated us. But for the Christian missionaries and their works in the field of education, imagine the plight of the rural people. Imagine the plight of the oppressed people in India. Karl Marx வந்து ஒரு முறை சொன்னார், தொடர்ச்சியாக இந்தியாவின் மீது அடுத்தடுத்து வந்த படையெடுப்புகளை தவிர இந்தியர்களுக்கு என்று வரலாறு ஏதாவது இருக்கிறதா என்று அவர் சொன்னவுடன், ஏனென்றால் இன்றைக்கு மார்க்ஸ் குறித்து மேலகு ஆளுமைகள் அத்தனை பேரும் பேசிக் கொண்டிருக்கின்ற காலகட்டம். அவர் சொன்னவுடன் அனைவருக்கும் கோபம் வந்தது. தேசியவாத இடதுசாரி மார்க்சியருக்கும் இந்த கூற்றை கேட்டவுடன் கோபம் வந்தது. But why did Marx make such an announcement on that day, on that junction? ஆங்கிலேயருடைய வருகைக்கு முன்பாக இந்தியாவில் சாதிய ரீதியான கிராமிய கட்டமைப்பில் முழுக்க சாதிய இறுக்கமான சமுதாய பொருளாதார கட்டமைப்பை ஆட்டம் காணாமல் இருந்தது. கல்வி அறிவு என்பது எட்டாக்கனியாக இருந்தது. இதை சுட்டிக்காட்டத்தான் வரலாறு இல்லை என்று அவர் சொன்னாரே ஒழிய இந்தியர்களுக்கு வரலாற்றை உருவாக்குவதில் உள்ள ஆற்றலை குறைத்து மதிப்பிடுவதற்காக அல்ல. ஆகவே the contribution of the English language, I'm a post-colonial third world citizen. So my writing is actually, I keep my writing everything opposite to the writings of the empire. Our history, we are writing against the empire. அதுதான் என்னுடைய எழுத்து, அதை நோக்கி தான் என்னுடைய பயணம். நாங்கள் எங்களுடைய சரித்திரங்களை புதிதாக எழுதுகின்றோம். So as a post-colonial citizen, my language, my native language, my dialectical language, my history, my stories, my dreams, my mythology, everything is all the more important because I have a history which dates back to 3,500 years when compared to just 500 years. So in my writings, I travel in a different way. As a political statement, I see to that, I write in Tamil. நிறைய பேர் கேட்பாங்க என்கிட்ட, ஏன் நீங்க ஆங்கிலத்துல உங்களுடைய கிரியேட்டிவ் ரைட்டிங்ஸை எழுதுறதில்ல, ஒரு கவிதை ஸ்ட்ரைட் ஃப்ரம் இங்கிலீஷ் நீங்க எழுதுறதில்ல? Why should you just concentrate only on writing critical essays? ஏன்னா வந்திருக்கிறதெல்லாம் மொழிபெயர்ப்பு தான், சிறுகதைகளையும் கவிதைகளையும். நேரடியான ஆங்கிலத்தில் ஏன் எழுதுவதில்லை என்னும் பொழுதெல்லாம் எனக்கு ஒரு கூற்று நினைவிற்கு வரும். கலை விமர்சகர் இந்திரன் சொன்ன விஷயம் என்று நான் நினைக்கின்றேன். கவிதையினுடைய மூலப்பொருள் கச்சா, ரா மெட்டீரியல் மொழியாக இருக்கும் வரையில் மொழிபெயர்க்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு கவிதையினுடைய மூலப்பொருள் மொழியாக இருக்கும் வரையில் மொழிபெயர்க்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு பிரதேசத்தன்மை உடையது கவிதை. பிகாஸ் நான் எழுதுறது முழுக்க என்னுடைய கரிசல் காட்டு மொழியில அந்த வட்டார வழக்குல எழுதுறேன். உதாரணத்துக்கு என்னுடைய ஒரு தொகுப்பினுடைய பெயர் வந்து பாம்படம்னு வச்சுக்கிறேன். பாம்படம்ங்கிற அந்த சொல்லாடலே இங்க இருக்கிற நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரியாது. If I have to put a glossary for that particular collection, the glossary will go on pages and pages rather than the original text. A long dangling earring which is being owned by the South Indian women, so it goes along like that. ஆகவே நான் ஏன் என்னுடைய மொழியில் எழுத வேண்டும் என்று விரும்புகிறேன் என்றால், மொழிபெயர்க்க முடியாத அளவிற்கு பிரதேசத்தன்மை உடையது கவிதை என்னும் பட்சத்தில் அந்த பிரதேசத்தன்மையை காவு கொடுத்து சர்வதேச அங்கீகாரத்தை பெற வேண்டும் என்கின்ற அவசியம் எனக்கு இல்லை. அதிலே நான் மிக தெளிவாக இருக்கின்றேன். ஆகவே நான் என்னுடைய மக்களின் மொழியில் என்னுடைய எனக்கான ஒரு வட்டார வழக்கில் I am writing my history. That's entirely a different thing. But this conference, it's a very important one, which I feel, and I'm very happy to inaugurate, because it discusses the problems which we face now regarding the learners, researchers, as well as the readers who are millennials, as I stated. See, referring to the World Economic Forum data published in November 2021, millennials are now the largest adult cohort worldwide. There are 1.8 billion around the world, equal to 23% of the global population, and Asia is home to a quarter of the global population of millennials. As we all know, millennials have the cutting-edge advantage of growing up in the internet age, where information is at fingertips through Google search engine and YouTube. For them, convenience is king. And coming to Zoomers, எனக்கு இப்பதான் இந்த சொல்லாடல்கள் தான் தெரியும். They call us boomers. பெரிய boomer இருக்கீங்களே. I think recently 6 months முன்னால I shouldn't use the word old English teachers, because that is connected to of the age. And the generation and the English teachers certain thing, even though we believe in breaking it, pidgin English, we believe in that to deconstruct, but still sometimes it's very shocking the way the language is diluted and then used, as pointed out by respected principal, digital language. I said, what is this boomers? They said, we are all Zoomers. That's what. So Zoomers or Gen Z are in the middle of transitioning from adolescence to adulthood, the new young adults and the current learners in class. Hence, our curriculum and teaching style should be modified to suit their learning needs. These Zen is it online courses and life skill development training programs, since they have never known a world without and the internet. So I have found out a term for them. I have called them as digital natives. I coined the term for them as digital natives. So how are we, the language teachers, are going to cater to the millennials as well as the digital natives? I think the conference is going to discuss and point the issues based on this line more. So what is the way forward? A few things which I just started down. We need to emphasize on the focused learning, because this generation, initially, if we just want to read fiction, we will start from George Eliot. My professor always says that train your mind in classics. Eliot's mind is one of the best minds. George Eliot, D.H. Lawrence. Be in your own mother tongue. உங்களுடைய செவியல் இலக்கியத்தில் உங்களுக்கு முதலில் ஆழங்கால் பட்ட பரிச்சயம் இருக்க வேண்டும். That's where we always begin, and then we come to know today's fiction. But this generation is not like that. It's like just picking up one here, picking up one there, and one who reads Shakespeare these days, they'd love to watch movies. Everything should be given in a nutshell and in an easy way, because they are digital natives. So a focused learning should be emphasized first, I think, because basics should be any day. My ready reckoner is Renan Morton, even now. I never use word verb or whatever it is. Any day it is. Because whenever I see that, I think when Dr. Johnson, when he wanted to compile a dictionary in 3 years, the critics and all the people around him, they asked him, announce that as a single person, you would finish the task of compiling our English dictionary in 3 years, when 40 Frenchmen belonging to French Academy took 40 years to compile a dictionary. How would you announce to the world that you would compile it in 3 years? And that was a classic reply that Dr. Johnson gave. He said, as 3 into 1600, 40 into 40, 1600. As 3 into 1600, so is the proportion of an Englishman to the Frenchman. That's what he said. So always we have, we have admired all those personalities. We grew up with Boswells and Johnsons. So my ready reckoner is Renan Martin, but now you have come all the way. So the teaching style should not be passive, but should be participative, co-creating the learning process, and making them getting interested in jumbling up new words or whatever it is. The basics should be dictionary, but still coming away, long away from them, trying to emphasize the use of new words in a creative way, maybe in a poetry or maybe in a class workshop, that model. More than classroom traditional learning, which all of us we believe, today's learners prefer to dabble in immersive learning with technology assistance. Hence, it's important that we build course content with mobile-first designs. Rather than having, everything jotted down in papers and whatever it is, the mobile app will be the next step that we will be able to cater to them. And then it would be great if we could mix the classroom lessons with capabilities enhancement. That is like skilling up and scaling their employability once they are done with their formal education. Because employability opportunities, the scope of employability is the basic thing which any researcher or a student, they are looking out when they opt for a degree and when they go up pursuing their higher education. So let's not forget the fact that we are dealing with the Google generation and Zen is it. Provide learning, rather than providing learning opportunities, better give them relevant topics and let them learn, explore on their own with the minimum supervision or intervention from teachers. This is an important point which I observe. We always go when we teach, like when they are writing, we always, in the name of supervision, we always go round and round, peeping like this. And I could feel that they are a bit restless. I learned very later that students are a little bit resistant if we just go on intervening, either through a body gesture or some sort of a suggestions. They are a little bit resistant. Just give them a free atmosphere to explore their ideas so that they can come out whatever it is on their original thing. Bothering the young learners with timelines and deadlines. That's also another important thing. They'll always say that, why do you torture us with that? We have that sort of a very disciplinary regimen that we need to submit your internals. Everything will be given to us once you join your college. And the next moment you enter the classroom, our teachers will come and give the deadlines. But I have noticed that those two words, they are very, very allergic to the younger generation. So give them a little space. What works with them is self-paced learning, which gives them more autonomy. You can ask them, choose a topic and then what timeline would you like to have? Always keep them in the position of giving an answer so that make them responsible. Let them take the responsibility. That way you can deal them better, I think. A scientific study says that 72% of Z generation prefers face-to-face communication. This is again another important observation which I noticed. I was under the impression that since I've seen most of them with the mobile phones always always tweaking with their gadgets, I was under the impression that they were totally away from human connects. That must have been probably the case, the scenario, but post-COVID, post-pandemic, there is a shift in their thinking, there is a shift in their attitude. They would like to now they would like to communicate through, like human contact. They are coming back again to the old phase. And I've seen them, I've observed them, that they are not that much of totally immersed in their technological gadgets. Post-COVID, they realized the importance of human communication. So we need to, I think, create a good balanced formula for efficient and effective learning, where there are opportunities for collaboration and one-on-one teaching along with the digital method. That's the traditional way of, there should be a perfect balance, I think. Almost 16 years of academic service I've had. As an academician, I believe teaching is running in my veins because both my parents were teachers. My father was a headmaster of school before he entered into politics. My mother worked as a teacher even when my father was a minister. So I always introduce myself that I'm proud of my identity as a teacher, as a daughter of proud teachers. Teachers post they always consider them as part of their family, as men of wisdom. So, because you never retire from teaching and you never get paid for your job. It's just your way of life. That way, I'm very proud that teaching runs in my veins, and I would never recommend replacing the old canonical texts and classics, works of that rated, yes, with modern fiction, with all humility, I would say. But I feel that we should strike a balance with multimodal texts to reach today's generation of learners. Sasurda, the critic, சொல்லிருப்பார் ரொம்ப அழகா, மொழி தன்னுடைய எஜமானனிடமே இடக்கு செய்கிறது. நான் மறக்காத, எப்பொழுதும் என் முன்பாக நான் வைத்திருக்க விரும்பும் வாசகம் இதுதான். மொழி தன்னுடைய எஜமானனிடமே இடக்கு செய்கிறது. அப்போ நீங்க அதை எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்றதுங்கிறப்போ பழைய கிளாசிக்ஸ், அஃப்கோர்ஸ் யூ ஷுட் ஹேவ் யுவர் பேஸ் இன் தட். அதை கையாளுவதற்கு, சரி செய்வதற்கு இன்றைய காலகட்டத்திற்கான உங்களுக்கான அந்த vocabulary, how to deal with that என்பது தெரிய வேண்டும். So I'm going to wind up with again the most favorite quote of mine. It's by Albert Einstein. He said, "I never teach my pupils. I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn." The ethos is very, very important. That's what I think the whole conference probably discuss in detail in these 2 days. In this way, we need to provide an ambient learning climate in classroom with good understanding of the needs and the psyche of the learners community. முன்னாறு காலத்துல நீங்க முதுகுத்தண்டு வழியா இந்திய சரித்திரத்தையும் பூகோளத்தையும் பெரும்பால கடத்திடலாம் அப்படின்னு நம்பின காலங்கள்லாம் இருந்திருக்கலாம். அதெல்லாம் முன்னொரு காலம். ஆனால் இப்ப நீங்க ஏதாவது சொன்னீங்கன்னா உங்களுடைய மாணவர் கேட்பார், வேலிக்கு வெளியே தலையை நீட்டியதால் கிளைகளை வெட்டிய தோட்டக்காரனே, மண்ணுக்குள் நடுவும் என்னுடைய வேர்களை நீ என்ன செய்வாய் அப்படின்னு திரும்ப கேட்பாங்க. All these facts, keeping everything before you, I think this has been a wonderful initiative by the Department of English, and I congratulate head of the department, the professors, my dear colleagues, as well as the team, whoever has put in a lot of effort for coming out with such an innovative conference. And I wish all the young students and researchers to make the best use of this 2-day conference. மிக மகிழ்ச்சியாக இன்றைய தினம் எனக்கு விடிந்திருக்கின்றது. நான் மிக விரும்புகின்ற கல்லூரி சூழலிலே என்னுடைய நாளினுடைய முதல் நிகழ்ச்சியை துவங்கியதில் பெருமகிழ்ச்சி. தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச். நன்றி.
Thank you so much, Juan. It was an enthralling talk. Thank you for impressing on the importance of diversifying literature and language, for it is what shows where a culture has come from and points out where its people are headed. மொழி தன் எஜமானிடம் இடக்கு செய்கிறது என்று மொழியின் அருமையும் இலக்கியத்தின் அருமையும் ஒரு சேர பேசி எங்களுக்கு இத்தினத்தை துவங்கி வைத்தமைக்காக மிக்க நன்றி. As we have officially begun our conference, it is essential that we take part in the event in the right spirit. I now request Dr. K. S. Anthony Sami, Head and Convener of the Studio International Conference. All right, so Sir will be addressing us a little later. And hence that brings us to the end of this session. And I now invite Dr. V. David Jayabalan, Associate Professor, Department of English, Loyola College, to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you.
Good morning. I'm sure all of you must be feeling not at home but in class after having listened to ma'am. Am I not correct? It's my pleasant duty to propose vote of thanks to the amazing dignitaries and luminaries on stage. They have honored us with their presence and enlightened us with their words of wisdom. On behalf of the organizing committee, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Kamalachi Pandian, a renowned academic and member of parliament. But today I realized, so far I have been thinking that she is more a politician than any other versatility that we know her for. But today I realized that she is more an academic than a politician. I don't know, probably she has stuck to her role that is given to her. Not a single word of politics. Completely academics. In fact, I could see all of us have been sitting here spellbound. I was told that she has given very limited time to stay here, but I realized in course of time that ma'am has gone back to her old days of classrooms, and definitely it must have been a very refreshing experience for her. And having seen all of you, nothing could be done except to talk about literature, literature, and literature. And particularly, I think she has hit the nail on the head when she had given us the directions, not only the dynamics, the directions of the conference. She has completely given us the orientation right in the beginning itself in this address. How it is a challenge for the teachers of the present generation and the learners of the present generation, whom she would describe as digital natives, whether Zoomers or Gen Z or digital natives. It's a challenge to teach this generation. All the challenges that teachers of the present generation could face, ways and means of addressing these issues. That is how we could actually meet these challenges. I think in that sense, we owe ma'am's talk here. And personally, I've been a fan of ma'am's parliamentary speeches. I never miss her speech in YouTube, okay? You must listen to, you will know what a sycophant she is in parliament. Yeah. Particularly the winter session, that is when the winter session of parliament where she got a wonderful speech. I thought that that's the best way to learn language also, okay? I would advise you to listen to her speeches and all that. I think that would immensely be helpful to you to develop your knowledge of the world, okay, as well as knowledge of literature. Well, so definitely the presence of ma'am has been a rich source of inspiration, okay, given her committed service in Indian social, political and academic circles, particularly young girl students here in our midst. So I am sure, madam, you have been a great source of inspiration to us, and I am sure that our students would emulate a number of things, factors from your life as well as your public service. Well, I also take this opportunity to thank Reverend Father Secretary, who has given us the felicitating words. And all of you know Father Secretary as Secretary. But then, for several of you who are not aware of it, I think, for secretary has been here for a number of years, okay? And I would say almost half of his lifespan he has spent for the growth of this institution. Right from the days of having been a director of hostels, he has been the controller of examination, he has been the vice principal of the evening college, he has been the principal of this college, he has been the rector of this college, now he is the secretary of this college. So he has not missed a single thing. Why I am saying this is that we have got a long connect, even with our principal, we have got a long connect with the management, okay, where they know where the department stands. I take this opportunity to place on record gratitude to both for the secretary and for the principal for having been here. And coming to for the principal, I'm sure all of you would agree with me when I say that he is a tall and imposing personality, okay, that is befitting the position that he plays. The challenge, the crisis came to him during the time of the Corona period. I think I am full of admiration the way that he had tackled the crisis that we came across during the time of Corona, and how he led the way for the other institutions in the city and the rest of the countries to take up online. And we have been the trendsetter even giving the directions for other institutions. I think Father Concern has always been, okay, with the Department of English. Always, he has lot of beliefs, okay, he has lot of beliefs, therefore expectations of the Department of English also. That is a number of times you have risen to the occasion. I am sure Father would believe in that. And because of his directions, we have been able to introduce a number of innovative courses which would cater to the needs of the students. Therefore, Father, you have really been a source of inspiration and guide, okay, and constantly being with us and then guiding us. We thank you, and particularly for being here, taking your time. I know I was told that you are expected in another conference also, but the way that he had chosen to be here definitely shows your concern and love and affection for the department. So to come to others, I am sure that I would like to thank the key speakers, Dr. Dureraj and the other speakers of the day who are here, the academic coach, and particularly our department, the head of the department, okay? Head of the department, I know you would not realize the challenges involved in heading the department like English department, okay? Largest department. What I am saying is the largest department which definitely needs a person of caliber and resources. He has got a lot of resources and sources. So therefore, I think it is also very difficult to organize an event of such magnitude, okay? I think I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate our head of the department also for doing a wonderful job. I also take this opportunity to thank the officials of the college, special invitees, guest speakers, participants from other colleges, and I am sure that you will enjoy your stay here for these 2 days and it would be an intellectual treat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that words of gratitude in your own way, own style, with a touch of humor that put a smile on all our faces. Thank you so much. That brings us to the close of the inaugural event. With the tone set for the event, I am sure we will learn from one another, interact with one another, and form an intellectual network for further collaborations and contributions to the literary and language studies in the ever-changing world. I wish you all a memorable time here at Loyola. With that, it is Krishnan A.R. signing off for the day. We'll now have a short break for 15 minutes.